Here's how 13 different NBA legends could have been the number one undeniable GOAT. Let's start with LeBron James. When we have the GOAT debate, it really comes down to two people, LeBron James and Najee Marshall. But for real, when I say how these guys could have been the undeniable GOAT, I'm talking Tom Brady, Wayne Gretzky. And in the NBA, if you gather a group of 10 people, there's a 0% chance you'll get a unanimous answer of who the GOAT is. So let's start off with LeBron James and how he could have done this. And for LeBron, I'm going to say, if he won the 2007 finals, it'd be pretty hard for people not to call this guy the GOAT. Let's look at the lineup this dude dragged to the finals in 07. We're looking at LeBron, Drew Gooden, Sasha Pavlovich, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, and then 2 games of Daniel Gibson and 2 games of Larry Hughes. I think if Sasha Pavlovich walked into my house right now and introduced himself as Sasha Pavlovich, I would still have no idea who he is. But yeah, that's the team a 23-year-old LeBron dragged to the finals, and the head coach was Mike Brown. Ask a Knicks fan how they feel about Mike Brown right now. But then, looking at the Spurs roster, their starting lineup, Parker, Duncan, Bruce Bowen, Fabricio Alberto, Michael Finley, and then they had Manu off the bench. Yeah, these are the two teams playing, one led by a 23-year-old and one led by the best trio ever. So if LeBron were to pull this off, he'd have 5 rings, 4 different eras, one of the most impressive rings ever being this 07 one, still the all-time leader in about 1,000 different categories, and it would be pretty hard not to call him the GOAT. But then we could do the same for Michael Jordan. Like I said, if you put 10 people in a room and ask them who the GOAT is, you're going to get 5 LeBrons and 5 MJs. But for MJ to make him unanimous, it would be if he didn't take those 2 years off in the middle of his prime and he won rings in those 2 years. Then that would have been an 8-peat for Michael Jordan. So MJ, for those who don't know, 91 wins a championship, 92 wins a championship, 93 wins a championship. Then, what does he do? He decides to retire and go play baseball. Retire. Alright, Mike. Sure. If you don't know, a lot of people think MJ was really suspended because of gambling debts, but we're not going to get into that right now. But can someone suspend me? I put actual USD on Khalil Ware to win MIP. The guy isn't even an option anymore. Literally a direct deposit from me to FanDuel. Anyways, MJ wins 3 rings, retires, and then what does he do when he comes back? Well, 96 championship, 97 championship, 98 championship. 2 separate 3-peats, and the 2 years in between, he was retired. And it's not even like the Bulls were bad in these 2 seasons either. They lost in the second round both times. And I know he came back mid-season in the second season, but it's tough when you come back rusty like that. But if MJ doesn't retire and he wins 2 championships in these 2 seasons, we're looking at an 8-peat. That would tie the Bill Russell Celtics with the most consecutive sports championship in Big 4 sports history. So yeah, if MJ did that, it would be pretty hard to argue against him. But now, this is where it gets tough, because those are pretty much the 2 GOATs of the NBA. But for the rest of these players, it would take a little more. And let's start with Nikola Jokic. Every season, Jokic climbs the all-time ranks more and more. Do me a favor, ask a Jokic fan a question for me. Say, what happened to Nikola Jokic in 2023 and 2025? And they're going to tell you that brother got robbed of the MVP. Twice. Looking at the NBA MVPs, 2021, Jokic, 22, Jokic, 23, Embiid, 24, Jokic, 25, SGA. And the thing is, Jokic was probably pretty easily going to win MVP this year too if he didn't get hurt. So if he did that, we'd be looking at 4 MVPs in 6 years. Insane as it is. But wait a minute. Let's go to the 23 race. This year, Jokic comes in second to Embiid. Then 25, Jokic comes in second to SGA. So if he wins MVP in these seasons, we're looking at 6 straight. He'd have the most MVPs in NBA history. The most consecutive MVPs ever is only 3 by Bird, Russell, and Wilt. He would double that. Yes, it seems crazy, but the guy was so close. But after him, let's go to Steph Curry. Right now, Curry probably ranks somewhere from like 5-ish to 12-ish on the GOAT rank. But for Curry to be or become the GOAT, the first thing he would need to do is complete that 2016 season with the ring, because then we're looking at the best season ever. First, the Warriors go 73-9, the best regular season record ever. Second, he wins unanimous NBA MVP, the only player ever to do that. Third, this cipher drops that year. But unfortunately for Curry, they're up 3-1, then LeBron and Kyrie exist, and they become the first ever team to choke a 3-1 lead in the finals, ruining Curry's perfect season. But secondly, I don't know if that ring would have been enough for his GOAT case alone, but I'm going to say he would have to win one more ring since the most recent one in 2022. Because with the 2016 one and another one, we're looking at 6 rings, tying MJ. Then we're in the serious, oh shit, this guy might got it territory. Imagine Unc Curry at 37 years old winning a chip. Narratives would be shifted, and I'd be here for it. But lastly, one more Finals MVP would be really big for Curry's case. Curry only has 1 Finals MVP in 4 championships. Durant got 2, and Iggy got 1. So old man Curry winning a Finals MVP, that would be huge for his case. And it probably won't happen now, especially that Jimmy Butler just tore his ACL. So Warriors, go trade for Larry Markkinen, please. Curry is still one of the best players in the NBA, averaging 27, 4, and 4. Help him win one more ring, please. Thanks. But after Curry, let's go Kobe being Bryant. Kobe might be the most culturally loved player ever. You'll find a lot of people who put him third all time. I don't know if I would do that, but you will find a lot of people who will. But the thing about Kobe, he got the rings, he's got 5 of them, but Kobe somehow only has 1 MVP in his career. The only time Kobe won MVP was 2008. Kind of insane to think about. And honestly, for the most part, he was never that close to another. Let's go through each year. 02, 5th place. 03, 3rd place. 04, 5th place. 06, 4th place. 07, 3rd place. 08, he won. 09, he came in 2nd. 2010, he came in 3rd. 2011, 4th. 2012, 4th. And 2013, 5th. So that's a lot of top 5 finishes. But besides the year he won, only one other top 2 finish. And LeBron almost won it unanimously. So I think 1 or 2 more MVPs could have been huge for Kobe's GOAT case. But besides that, Kobe was also a little inefficient. Kobe shot 44.7% from the field from his career. He also shot a career 32.9% from 3. The best he shot in a season was 01-02, 46.9%. The best he shot for 3 was the season after that, 38.3%. I love Kobe, but the dude was inefficient. There's no real way around it. But the fact that this song alone exists, it might make him the GOAT. Such a banger. But besides that, if you guys want to be the unanimous GOAT, all you got to do is subscribe. If you're the unanimous vote, then don't sub, but your parents might be disappointed. But for real, if you guys do want to subscribe, it's genuinely the only thing that tells me you guys want me to go all in on this channel. Thank you so much. Anyways, next up, we gotta get old. Your great-great-great-great-great-grandpa's great-grandpa will tell you he's the GOAT. Bill Russell. 11 rings in 13 seasons. Crazy. But the question for Bill Russell is more so, if winning is the most important thing in sports, how is this dude not the GOAT? Well, the thing about Bill Russell is he really didn't score. He averages a career 15.1 points per game. The highest he scored in a season was 18.9 points per game, and he wasn't efficient either. The highest he shot in a season was 47% from the field. If you're going to be the GOAT and you're a center, you can't really have a non-existent offensive game. Yes, it helps that he's probably the best defender in NBA history. The guy played 13 seasons and he's got 5 MVPs. He's part of the best dynasty in sports history. Actually, he's the leader of the best dynasty in sports history. He coached the Celtics and played for them at the same time. The dude was a beast, no doubt. But the most points Bill Russell scored in a game, 37. Michael Jordan had the season where he averaged 37.1 points per game. But Bill Russell, like I said, his high points in a game, 37. His career high rebounds in a game, 51. That's insane. So yeah, there's no doubt he's one of the GOATs. He was so good that he didn't have to be a plumber in the literal plumber era. But you probably aren't going to be the GOAT if your offensive game is non-existent. Now, if he averaged like 30 points per game, we're looking at that completely different. But yeah, rest in peace to one of the greatest ever, Bill Russell. But after that, let's stay back in the day. I guess a little more current, Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson is arguably the best point guard ever. Every single person over the age of 50 just cringed when I said arguably. Relax. But he had a historic career, no doubt. But Magic only had a 12-year career. Granted, this isn't his fault, but Magic Johnson needed to play longer in his career to be the GOAT. Is that even legal to say? I don't mean that disrespectfully if you're watching this, Magic. Love you, buddy. But Magic had 5 NBA championships. But the thing is, all 5 came with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Then Kareem retired. Then Magic plays 2 more seasons without Kareem before he came back for that one fraud season. But in those seasons, the 89-90 season, the Lakers lose in the second round to the Suns. Then the season after that, the 90-91 season, the Lakers lose to MJ and the Bulls in the finals 4-1. And the thing is, if Magic Johnson won the finals this year, he'd hand Michael Jordan his only ever finals loss. He'd also win his 6th championship and his first without Kareem, which of course would boost his GOAT ranking. But besides that, Magic Johnson had a Bill Russell issue. He didn't score that much. He averages a career 19.5 points per game. His highest points per game was 23.9. Granted, he has the highest career assist at 11.1, which is insane. If somebody gets 11 assists in a game, that's crazy. He averaged that for his career. But second here is John Stockton. But I'll give you $2 quadrillion right now if you guess who's third all-time in assists per game. Because it's Trae Young, the guy who just got traded to the Wizards for CJ McCollum. If anyone is curious though, Trae Young just went from a Hawk to a Wizard. Anyways, if we're going to talk Magic Johnson, we gotta talk his best friend, Larry Bird. What's the odds that you're the greatest rivalry ever and both careers are 13 seasons? Bird only played in the NBA for 13 seasons, and the reason, he had back problems. That's really it. But when Bird got hurt the most, when he was shoveling rocks on his mom's driveway, he messed up his back so bad. So yeah, Bird could have been the GOAT if he decided to hire someone to shovel rocks for his mom. But the country boy in him kicked in, and he wanted to do it himself. But Bird, in those 13 seasons, 3 MVPs, 3 championships. But I think something that could have helped him, Magic and Bird met in the finals 3 times, 84, 85, and 87. Probably the most iconic rivalry ever. But Bird, he only won one of them, and this is kind of nitpicky. But if Bird could have beat Magic and Kareem in a majority of them, it would help his case. But Larry Bird's case pretty much comes down to time played in the NBA. It's hard to be the GOAT when you only play 13 seasons. In those 13 seasons, he did average 24, 10, and 6. So obviously, he's one of the top 10 players ever. But one just needed to basically play longer. But after him, we can go back 562 years, Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain's stats are equivalent to Chris Smooth's My Player stats. He averages a career 30.1 points per game and 22.9 rebounds, the highest ever for both. He had seasons where he averaged 50.4 points per game, 27.2 rebounds, 48.5 minutes. There's 48 minutes in a basketball game. Wilt's one guy, to me, where I always get confused. How the hell is this guy not in the GOAT conversation? Let's take a look at some of these. 53 points, 32 rebounds, 14 assists, 24 blocks, and 11 steals. But then we got 58 points, 42 rebounds, 34 points, 55 rebounds, 6-7 points, 31 rebounds, 42 points, 30 rebounds, 10 assists, 18 for 18 from the field. These kind of games just go on and on for Wilt. And the guy scored 100 points in a game. Except there's no footage of the game, so a lot of people don't believe it happened. But if you want to know the truth, I actually interviewed someone who played in the game. I'm going to post it eventually, so just please sub if you want to see it. Thank you. But for Wilt, the thing with him is he didn't really win a lot of championships. Wilt only won 2 championships in his whole career, and that's a 19-year career too. Granted, he was stuck on trash teams, and the Bill Russell Celtics were equivalent to the 12 Apostles, so Wilt really never got a chance. But yeah, Wilt's GOAT case came down to the fact that he didn't win often, but looking at numbers, there's no question he's the best player ever stats-wise. Look at this. In 1986, the Nets offered a 50-year-old Wilt Chamberlain $362,000 to play in the last 7 games of the season. Yeah, let me put that into perspective for you. That'd be equivalent to a mid-team, let's say the Atlanta Hawks, asking current day Allen Iverson or Ray Allen or Mendelzga Zukazausisk, literally the GOAT right here. But actually, Ray Allen is 50? How? He doesn't feel that old. Anyways, that's how respected and dominant Wilt was. He's a 4-time MVP. He's got his jersey retired for 3 different teams. But at the end of the day, only 2 rings, and that'll affect your case when it comes to being the best player ever. But then after him, we could talk about Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq is an interesting one. A lot of people will call him the most dominant player in NBA history. Shaq does have 4 rings, 3 with LA and 1 with Miami. But for Shaq, I'm gonna go with, if him and Penny pulled off a ring in Orlando, that would exponentially boost his GOAT case. I just unlocked the word exponentially on the fly. But Shaq was insane. A 19-year career, 4 rings, only 1 MVP too though, the same as Kobe. Not enough MVPs. Although, look how close Shaq was to winning this MVP this year. Literally, like if 3 more people decided it's Shaq over Nash, Shaq got his 2nd MVP. And this was actually also a really close 3-way race with Duncan and Kidd. But for Shaq, let's go back to the Orlando thing, because the 95 finals, it was Rockets Magic. Shaq this year led the Magic to the finals at 23 years old against prime Hakeem Olajuwon. And well, the Rockets, they swept the Magic. But if the Magic pulled this off, it would be their only ring in franchise history. Shaq would be the youngest finals MVP ever, not named Magic Johnson or Kawhi Leonard. It would be 5 rings for him on 3 different teams. Unarguably one of the best careers ever at that point. But do me a favor, pause this video, drive to your most local Walmart, and tell me how many different Shaqs you could find. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna edit in how many Shaqs I find. Edit, I found 5 Shaqs. Let me know what you find. Alright, I'm back. But I did look up someone describing the Shaq gummies. I was at Walmart and noticed these. If you ever dreamed of having Shaq in your mouth, now's the chance for under $3. You know what? If I saw it, you have to too. Anyways, next up, we could talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I say for most people you talk to, they're going to tell you that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the 3rd greatest player in NBA history. The thing about Kareem, you look at his career and you think, damn, that guy actually might be the GOAT. 6 MVPs, the most ever. 6 rings, tied with Jordan. He was the all-time leading scorer for 300 years before LeBron James was fathomed. The guy played for 20 years. Can we look at this real quick? Besides the championships and MVPs, we're looking at 19 All-Stars, 15 All-NBA teams, 11 All-Defense teams, Rookie of the Year, 2-time scoring champ, rebound champ, 4-time block champ. The guy literally did everything. You know what? Maybe Kareem is the GOAT. Alright, video over. Alright, for real though, the reason Kareem doesn't get looked at as the GOAT, he has 6 championships, but he only has 1 championship in those 6 where he's the clear best player. He only has 2 finals MVPs, and the 71 Bucks was the only time Kareem won a championship where he was far and away the best player on his team. Because every other championship he won, besides one of them, Magic Johnson or James Worthy was the finals MVP. The Lakers, as that core, won 5 rings, 3 Magic Finals MVP, 1 Worthy, 1 Kareem. It's kind of similar to what we said about Curry before. It's hard when you don't have those finals MVPs. They help a lot in your GOAT case. And maybe if Kareem won 5 or 6 finals MVPs, then we might look at him as the GOAT. But after him, we can move on. Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan, man. Certified winner. I don't know why every time I think of Tim Duncan, the first thing I think of is that scene in Grown Ups where Adam Sandler shoots and then banks it and shouts out Duncan. I have no idea why that's engraved in my memory. But Duncan is an elite career, 5 championships, 2 MVPs. When you ask a lot of people who the most underappreciated NBA legend of all time is, they'll tell you Tim Duncan. Isn't it weird that Tim Duncan doesn't have a depoy? I feel like a lot of people consider him one of the best defenders ever. But the reason Duncan isn't looked at as the GOAT, it's kind of similar to Magic and Bill Russell. He just didn't score enough. Tim Duncan averages a career 19 points per game on the dot. The highest he ever had in a season was he averaged 25.5 points per game. That put him in 5th that season, which is crazy because nowadays if you average 25.5, you'd be lucky to be a 4th string center. So yeah, besides that one season, and besides this season where he was 90 years old, he averaged a pretty consistent 18 to 22 points per game for almost every season. But when we compare him to the LeBrons, Jordans, Kobe's, Max Struess's, it just pretty much comes down to Tim Duncan was elite at literally every facet of the game, but he didn't score enough to be considered the GOAT. But the last guy we can talk about, Kevin Durant. KD probably is the weirdest career of any player on this list so far. Pretty much. He's got 2 championships, 2 finals MVPs, an MVP. He's been in the NBA for 19 years at this point. The dude is one of 2 players currently in the NBA who suited up for the Seattle Supersonics. That's the kind of timeline we're looking at. Shout out Jeff Green. But Durant, he's still the best player on a contender. But for his career, a lot of people call him the best scorer in NBA history. The guy averages a career 27.2 points per game. That's on 50% from the field, 39% from 3, and 88% from the line. He averages 27 points per game for his career on almost 50, 40, 90 splits. It really doesn't get better than that. But for Durant, I think for him to have been the GOAT, if he won a ring or 2 in OKC, we would have serious conversations. And honestly, even one more in Brooklyn or Phoenix or Houston or wherever else, one in one of those places would have been massive. But 1 or 2 in OKC, we'd be talking about Kevin Durant completely different. Because then he would have won with the homegrown team who drafted him. Low-key, the Thunder could have won one in 2016, but they blew a 3-1 lead to Golden State. But if Durant wins a ring in OKC, we're looking at a ring there, then 2 more in Golden State, so that's already 3. And people would completely stop hating on him for the Golden State move because he got the job done in OKC before the move. And Gucci Mane would have never got to say this. But if you guys enjoyed this, I would genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. It's genuinely the only thing that truly tells me you guys want me to go all in on this channel. Thank you guys for watching.